Stairs are a normal part of everyday life, but as you age, going up and down stairs isn't as easy as it used to be. And most people just assume, that's just because I'm getting older. But from what I've seen working with patients, that's not really what's going on. I've seen people in their 60s struggle going up and down stairs, where somebody in their 80s has no trouble going up and down stairs. So in this video, I want to walk through what's actually changing in your body and the 3 things that make stairs harder for everybody, and more importantly, how to start improving that today. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Drew Cruz. I'm a physical therapist, and I have 7 years of experience working with people in the older adult population, helping them to get rid of pain and to gain their independence back. If you are looking forward to more content similar to what we've already been talking about so far, go ahead and give this video a like, go ahead and sub, leave a comment down below about other things that you want me to talk about. Let's go ahead and dive right into this first point. All right, so for this first point that I want to make, I want to go ahead and say that walking is a good exercise before we go any further than this. Keep that in the back of your mind. But walking alone doesn't keep you strong enough to be able to go up and down stairs. For example, some people may be able to struggle with getting up out of low chairs. You gotta have the momentum to get up. You gotta use your arms to help push yourself up. You may have already noticed this too if you are, if you need to grab a hold of the rails in order to go up and down the stairs, or if you need to hold on to the handrest in order to help get yourself up off the stair, up out of the chair. Here's what's actually going on. You've lost leg strength in the exact same position that you need in order to go up and down stairs. It's not so much that it is a walking thing, it's not so much where it's a getting up out of a chair thing, but stairs are really a strength test, plain and simple. Each step that you take is a controlled single leg squat in one way or the other, whether you're going up or if you're coming back down. And so you've got to be able to have the strength to be able to put one leg up onto the step, push yourself up, and then take that other leg. Let's say you step up on your right leg first. You got to be able to have enough strength to get your left leg to come up above your right leg, get up on the next step, put the left foot on there, and then push through that left foot to be able to get up to the next step. You gotta have enough strength to lift your full body weight repeatedly. Let's think about this with the case of going up and down stairs. A single flight of stairs is anywhere between 12 and 14 steps. You gotta be able to do that 12 to 14 times, and that's just going up the stairs. Let's not even talk about going down the stairs. Your body has to have enough control. The muscles have to contract, what we call eccentrically. They have to slow down your speed as you come down. So that's where in a single leg squat, if you start from a standing position with just one leg and you start working your way down, your body has to control your descent, or else you would just crumple down onto the floor. Whenever you're pushing yourself up, you gotta have that, what we call the concentric contraction. That's whenever the muscle is squeezing to help to contract and to straighten and to get yourself to stand straight up. That's what happens whenever you're going up the steps. This is typically what I end up seeing happening is people have lost the strength in their legs, and especially in that single leg position, to be able to help get themselves up. That's where you see people mainly doing the, what I call the 2-step up the step. Instead of going one step right after the other, you put both feet up on the steps, walking up just like that. So what are some things that we could do that it would be an easy test or an easy way to start working on some of this? If you have stairs at your home, you could start off with just doing what we call step-ups. But you want to start working on being able to do that without having any kind of handheld assist, without having to put your hand on the rail. So being able to step up with one foot up on the step and then push yourself up and get that other step up and then come back down. By doing that, you're working on not just the concentric, the actual squeezing and the pushing yourself up, you're helping on the coming back down as well, just in a different position. I would say that you could do that 2 to 3 times a week and aim for anywhere between 10 reps to 12 reps to start off with, and then work your way up as you continue to go up. And then you can start breaking it up at that point to, once you get up to 20 reps, then you can add in another set of, 2 sets of 10, working up to 3 sets of 10, something like that. But ultimately you're trying to increase the amount of reps that you have, because ultimately what's end up happening is you haven't been doing this activity, you haven't been doing this thing enough to have your body change and adapt and to do what it needs to in order for you to go up or down the stairs. Another thing that you can add in as well is by doing some sit to stands. So find you a good kitchen chair, something like that. You don't want to, if you have a lift chair, if you have a higher up chair, or if you've got cushions in your chair, you want to try to get rid of that stuff as soon as possible. I'd rather somebody be able to start from a position where they can actually do the exercise without having to use their hands first and then start working their way down. But really you want to try to start off at the lowest surface that you can manage without having to push off with your hands to begin with. Start by adding in 5 reps of those. Do that 2 or 3 times a day. Do that 2 or 3 times a week. So focus on control, not speed. We're not trying to get through all this stuff as fast as we possibly can. We can work on that later, but right now you're working on controlling your body's ability to stand up and then even to sit back down. Just by even controlling yourself to sit back down, that requires that eccentric control that we were talking about earlier. That's going to strengthen up your muscles and help you to slow your descent down so that whenever you do come downstairs, you have an easier time, you're stronger in that position, and then ultimately that leads to more confidence. Okay, so if the first half of going up and down stairs is strength, then the other half is trust. So stairs require your full weight shift over to one leg, and then you have to be able to lift that leg up, the other leg up, to get it up on the step, and then do that again over and over again. If balance feels off, if you feel off kilter, if you are looking at a set of stairs and you don't have a handrail to hold on to, your brain limits the force output. It tells you that your brain is telling your body, telling your legs, I can't do this. There's no way that I can do this. So if you have concerns about your balance, concerns about falling or not being able to get up the stairs, that can be a limiter. One thing that I see from a lot of the people that I've treated, is that the rail is just there for support. It's something that they think about or something that they have told me. They're just, I just really need that rail there just for support. But often that's a confidence crutch. You're using that, you only feel confident that you can go up and down stairs if there's a rail nearby. We want to get to the point where you could go up and down stairs without not needing to use a handrail, because that is the ultimate confidence. Is being able to confidently go up and down stairs. Let's say you're going on a trip. Let's say you are on a cruise ship and you want to skip the elevators and you want to go up and down the decks by going up and down the stairs. Sometimes it's really busy. You want to be able to just go up and down those stairs no problem and not have to worry about the people behind you or being left behind by the rest of your family. This is what we're talking about with this point. So point number 2 is your balance and your confidence have decreased, which is one of the reasons why you are struggling with stairs. You may hesitate mid-step. You may just take that one step at a time. You may always be trying to reach for support. Maybe you don't feel as good about going up and down the stairs unless you have a handrail and your cane or your walker next to you. So this is some things that we want to work on. Here's one action that you could take to help address this problem if you struggle with the confidence aspect. Practice controlled step-ups without holding on. This is like what we talked about earlier. This is being able to stand and to step up and then come back down without having that handheld assist or having to hold on to anything. If doing a normal step, which is usually about 6 inches, if that is too difficult, try to find something that you could step onto that's a little bit shorter than that. Find something that's 2 inches tall, work your way up to 4 inches, then work your way up to 6 inches. And then ultimately what we want to do is we want to overtrain that. So then you want to be able to step up on something that is maybe a 1.5 step height, maybe up to the point where you could skip the bottom step and you step up to the next step. I remember whenever I was younger, that's how I would try to get up and down the stairs at college, in high school, is that I would just skip every other step so that I could get up the stairs faster. Not saying that you're trying to do that right now, But if we want to be able to increase our strength, to have more confidence to be able to do that, if you can confidently say to yourself, you know, I have enough strength and enough balance to step up to the second step without holding on and push myself up, that's a pretty big confidence boost right there. So that's something to work toward later down the line. Right now, we want to work on just being able to have that confidence to step up without any handheld assist. And if you've got to decrease the step height to do that, then that's what you want to do. Another thing that we want to work on as well is single leg balance. You knew it was coming. Here it is. This is your PT telling you we got to work on being able to stand on one leg with our foot, not just behind us. We need to work on our foot being in front of us. So if my leg is right here, and my other leg is right here, I want to be able to hold it like this. I want to be able to stand up and have my leg in front of me while balancing without holding on to anything. You want to try to do this to make sure that you are stable in the position of standing on one foot. Do that on both sides. You want to practice up to 30 seconds on each side. This is something that you don't have to do every single day. This is something I would recommend maybe 2 times a week at the most to start off with. But the next thing that you want to do, if you want to progress it, if you want to get it better, then start trying to think of things. Do something else while you're standing on one foot. If you're brushing your teeth, if you've got the ability to do it, don't hold on. Brush your teeth, stick that leg up. Now we're working on what we call dual task. So typically whenever we're going up and down stairs, we're not just focusing on just that one task. We're not just focusing on going up and down the stairs. We're also thinking about, I need to get up to the top of the stairs quicker, or what am I gonna do once I get up to the top of these stairs? Where do I gotta go? Which hallway do I go down to get to the doctor's office? Those kinds of things. By adding in this extra layer, once you get really good at standing on one leg and it kind of starts feeling pretty easy with you just standing there at your kitchen sink, holding on to nothing, standing there on one leg, adding in something else to do. Let's say wash your hands, brush your teeth, wash the dishes, reading a book, counting backwards from 100 by threes, something like that. You want to add in these other tasks as well, because that's going to start to challenge your balance a lot more than what you think it would. You'd be surprised at how much you'd start wavering back and forth just by adding in a separate task. Or if that's too difficult, just adding in head turns while you are standing up and down, side to side, looking at different directions. That can challenge your balance as well. And ultimately, it's going to increase your confidence to the point where you can get to going up and down stairs without having to hold on to that handrail, which is what we're trying to get to. Okay, before we go dive into this last point, I want to do a quick check-in. Which feels harder for you, going upstairs or going downstairs? Because your answer tells me exactly what it is that we're missing, but don't answer it just yet. We're going to get to that in the next point. Point number 3 is this. You're avoiding the exact movement that you need in order to fix it. I've been hinting at it all throughout this video. The fastest way that you lose your ability is that you stop doing anything. That old adage of, if you don't use it, you lose it, counts so much in this point, and honestly counts in a lot of other areas of getting older, of moving into retirement age. The less that you do, the less you're able to do. So if we avoid this, then we start to decondition, we start to go downhill, gets harder to get up and down to the point where even just doing the simple task that you need to do, just getting up out of a chair, gets even more difficult. If we're avoiding stairs, it has consequences that go far beyond just being able to go up or down the stairs. Your body adapts to the stimulus that you put into it. Your body adapts to what it continuously does or what it repeatedly does or it does not do. So if you do not do stairs, you are going to get less good at going up and down stairs. It's the same thing as it was whenever you were younger. If you have forgotten how to do certain math equations, it's because you haven't, your job didn't require you to do those math equations. If you asked me to do something in advanced algebra, I would have a really difficult time to do it right now because I haven't been able to flex that mental muscle to do that thing. Or if you ask me how to, another skill would be along the lines of remembering a piece of music that I haven't played in a very long period of time. I took piano lessons. I have a piano back here, as you can see, but I remember just a few songs. I don't remember a lot because there was a long period of time that I didn't play the piano. And so I forgot a good amount of the things that I knew at one point because I haven't been able to use it. Your body goes the path of least resistance. Doesn't matter if it's mental, doesn't matter if it is physical. If you don't do it, you lose it. So a lot of people want to avoid stairs also because of the things that we've already talked about in the past. But another thing is, well, I want to protect my knees. I want to be able to, it's really hard on my knees. I need to not do this because I'm going to tear up my knees even more. And oftentimes that just ends up making things worse in the long run, that line of thinking, because really whenever your knee is in pain, whenever this is the case for most joints, whenever it's in pain, it's saying, I'm unstable. I need more stability. I need more strength here. I need more movement. It's your body's way of telling you to move, but we have this mental block that goes on in our heads sometimes that says, I shouldn't move because movement is going to cause pain. It's going to cause damage. Movement will not cause pain or damage. In the most case, most of y'all are talking about arthritis type pain. Your body craves motion in those moments. It needs to move. You know this. Whenever that joint gets warmed up on a hot summer day, if it's middle of the day and you're outside and you kind of start moving around, you start feeling a little bit better. You get in that hot shower. It feels really nice. You get in the sauna. You get in the hot pool at the rec center. It feels great. Cold wintertime feels awful. You're stoved up. You don't like to move. And the rest of your body doesn't like to move. You want to stay underneath the warm blankets in the morning. That's part of it. So being able to move the joint in all of its ranges of motion is going to help ultimately with improving the strength, improving the stability, and improving the pain that you're having in the knee that is making you avoid the stairs in the first place. Some other examples of this is if you're choosing elevators instead of going up and down the stairs. You're limiting the amount of trips that you take because you don't want to have to maybe go up and down a step, or at the rental property in Branson or Gatlinburg or in the mountains, wherever it is that you end up going. I live in Tennessee. These are just the places that are nearby that people go to. You don't want to go on those trips because you're afraid that the rental property that you're going to is gonna have stairs to get up and down, like the bedrooms are on the bottom floor and the kitchen's on the top floor or something like that, and you don't want to have to go up and down those stairs. Maybe you are minimizing how much effort you put throughout the day because you're trying to preserve the energy that you have. So this is what we want to think about. Let's go back to that question I asked earlier. If going up and down the stairs, if going upstairs is harder, then you're lacking that strength, you're lacking that power to be able to push yourself to go up the stairs. If going down is a lot harder, then you're lacking the control, especially in your quadricep muscle. That's the big muscle that's on your thighs there, on the top of your thighs. You got to be able to have the control and the stability to lower yourself down going down the stairs. So this is what we want to do. We want to intentionally practice stairs daily, adding 1 or 2 extra trips going up and down stairs. If you've got 4 steps that go up into your house, and let's say you would go up them maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the day because you go down the steps to get in the car to go to the grocery store, and then you come back and then you go back up them. You know what? Let's add in a few more reps of that. Just these are easy ways that if you're already going to use the stairs, you might as well go ahead and add in an extra rep. And that's an easy way to to improve and to include what we like to call progressive overload into your system. That is, we are progressively adding a little bit more stimulus to your body, or adding more weight. In this case, we're adding more repetition to the stair climbing to get better at the stair climbing. And then whenever you're working on this, you really want to work on slowing down the going down part. If you get up to the top of those 4 steps and then you turn around and you come back down, really focus in on slowing that down. If it took you, let's say 3 seconds to go up the stairs, Let's work on 6 seconds coming down the stairs, going as slow and as methodically as possible to get down the stairs, because that time under tension is what we call it. By slowing it down, you're actually giving your muscle more opportunity to get stronger in the going down position, which a lot of people struggle with. And ultimately that's where that like knee giving out, or my knee buckling, or even other like hip buckling, ankle buckling, any of that kind of stuff, that's where that comes in, is because there's a lack of stability and a lack of control of your muscles to be able to go down the steps like that. That's where that typically comes up. This is the difference that I see in people who stay independent and the people who don't. Most of the time, it's your ability to go up and down stairs. That's one of the first clues that I normally see with people that where they're struggling, is that they notice they can't go up and down the stairs. And this is why I say it's not actually about aging. Just because you've gotten older doesn't mean that automatically you get given this new list of rules at age 65 that says you can't go up and down stairs anymore. It's just there's been things that have happened that have skewed whatever it is that you think about going up and down stairs, that made it harder for you to go up and down those stairs. I hope that this video has been helpful to be able to see it's not really just about age. Age doesn't really play as big of a factor into going up and down stairs as most people think. Most of the time I see it as it's a loss of strength in the position of going up and down stairs. It's a lack of confidence, it's a lack of trust, and most of the time that comes from balance. And then most of the time it's an avoidance behavior. It is not doing the thing that is going to actually make you better at going up and down stairs. And so if you work on these things, the things that we talked about, do a sit to stand exercises at least daily, working on going up and down stairs at least daily, maybe including a few more reps of going up and down the stairs if you can possibly, working on the point to where if, let's say you do have a second story in your house, you can get to the point where you could walk up to the second floor of your house, which I assume for some of you, you've not been able to do for a few years. What kind of confidence and what kind of impact is that going to have on you for whenever you go out into the rest of the world and you come up to a point where you have to go up and down stairs? I think it's going to be pretty big. And it's going to just change everything about what you perceive about yourself. And ultimately that's what this channel is all about, is to change the perception that you have on yourself, just to see that just because you're getting older doesn't mean that you automatically get weak. I want everybody who is over the age of 60 to be able to be as confident and independent as they possibly can. And that's part of the reason why I created this channel and why I create these videos. And then to conclude it, to throw this all together as well, adding in those balance activities, adding in those balance exercises, starting off small, working our way up into something a little bit more challenging and a little bit more demanding on not just your physical capabilities, but your mental capabilities, is going to improve the confidence so much that by no time you'll start realizing, I can go up and down these stairs and I don't have to rely on that handrail, or I don't have to rely on other people to help me get up and down these stairs. If you end up training these 3 things, stairs don't just stay doable, they get easier. And that's ultimately what we are all about. So if you want to stay strong and independent as you age, go ahead and subscribe down below for more videos like this. If you found this video very helpful, leave a comment down below. Or if you have questions about anything, leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful, a like, a share would be appreciated. And if you want to see some more videos that are like this, I've got one right over here that I think you might like. A little bit more about the philosophy of what aging and what strength means as we age. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.